Mr. Preston, we're in a time right now where 60% of men aren't dating and half of them aren't even trying to. Why is attraction in modern dating sort of collapsing between men and women right now?
Oh man, that's a deep one, but the short answer is it comes down to parenting. A lot of people were parented by parents who did their best, and I'm specifically speaking to the moms. The dads failed because they weren't around, or they were flabby and sort of weak. But this is specifically the moms, and this is not me blaming mothers, but I'm just pointing to something that you'll understand in a moment. And this triggers people at first, and then they get it. So a bunch of well-meaning mothers, really good mothers, who were traumatized by men, did their absolute best to beat out, push out, weed out the parts of the masculine that hurt them. So I'm going to say that again. A bunch of well-meaning mothers tried their absolute best to create the perfect little boy who doesn't destroy too much, doesn't play with his penis too much, doesn't have that masculine drive and that killer in him, and we just need him to be a good little Christian boy and a good little this kind of boy and a good little that kind of boy. And over time, because we can't beat our biology, we can work with our biology, we can't beat it. So over time, those little boys especially learn to put on masks, learn to play roles when mommy is around. And what happens is you play the role for so long that it starts to get heavy and the biology starts to kick in, and that little boy turns 12, 13, 15, 17, and his hormones are raging, and he wants to have sex. He wants to do stuff. He wants to explore women, but because he was shamed by his mom and or his dad and the church when he first discovered his dick, it has to be a secret. Now you pair that with the timing of smartphones and pornography and the ease from which little boys and people could get to porn, and you have a recipe for disaster. So all these boys now look like men. They are not men. They look like them. They have the age of a man, but they are in some form or another in arrested development, meaning they're 24, but they're really 12 in maturity. So these men now are in the dating world, and they've never learned how to navigate hard times. They watch their parents get divorced and run away and blame each other. They were raised by well-meaning mothers who did not know how to be with a wild little boy, so she put the clamps down. And all of that creates a distance and, in many ways, a hatred for the feminine. It's the like, and I find it to be the exact same on the other side because I coach men and women on this
Right.
stuff. Women are so mad at men right now, and yet they love them. Men are so mad at women, and yet they can't beat their biology, they have to go towards them. And so I think that all of that plays a part in why the dating pool is pretty hardcore right now.
So there's a lot to unpack there. That was a bit of a brain download. And I feel like one of the most interesting things that you just said was well-meaning mothers sort of as a defense mechanism because they were hurt by sort of I don't love saying the toxic masculinity thing, but toxically masculine men in their past, maybe it's a childhood wound or however, as a defense mechanism, they sort of wanted to diffuse that in their young boys.
Yes.
And I would assume that it's the same on the flip side. Perhaps fathers did the same to their daughters and things like this. And now we're at a point where, you know, we have these magical boxes in our pockets and we can look up anything at all times. And actually, my next question was going to be, why do you think that men and women feel so disconnected at a time where everything is, by definition, connected through smartphones, technology, social media, things like this?
Yeah. That's a big part of it. It's because they're getting too many dopamine hits and then crashes that the addiction is so strong to the weapon of mass distraction called the phone. The addiction's so strong that they're getting so many dopamine hits that when it comes to actually being in front of a regular human, they don't know how to. They're drained. It's actually counterproductive to be so connected to our social media and our phones. And I'm just as addicted as the next man. I do my absolute best to put it down and leave it in other rooms. But when I find myself taking it to the bathroom or I'm out in the middle, I have 4 acres here, and I'm out in the woods with the dogs, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, bro, stop, put it down. And I have to talk myself out of it. But I'm also 45 years old, and so I've lived in a time when they didn't exist. Many of you have not. You were born into this stuff, and so you don't know another thing. Yeah.
Interesting. So you've found that the connection that social media gives us to other people is sort of synthetic in a way, and it's almost counterproductive to real human connection. Like when you're out with the dogs on your acreage and you're in the woods and you're on your phone, you're like, what's going on right now? I need to connect with, what's actually happening instead of what's on this weird screen, right?
That. And it's not just the phone, it's what's inside the phone. It's the programming and the conditioning. There's 4 aspects of what it means to be a human. Number 1, we are biological beings, right? We know that there's a lot going on in these beautiful skin suits that we have. Number 2, we're linguistic beings. We use words to build worlds. Without the language of door and doorknob, getting out of a room would be very challenging. But the moment I have language, that's a door, and a door has a knob, the language opens up worlds for me. Number 3, and this is the one I'm going to really stop on, is we are social and historical beings. Social and historical beings. Meaning, all of us were born into beliefs and interpretations. We are malleable. And so if we are, let's say, born into a family that is disconnected from their thump and their sex and their joy, the likelihood of us being disconnected from our fire, our anger, our joy, our sexual feelings is going to be pretty high. If you're born into a family that says you're a dirty little sinner and you need to repent for your sins and you're a bad person until Jesus says you're okay, then you're going to believe you're shameful and nasty and dirty like I did. I used to jack off when I was a kid, and I would tell myself, stop doing this. Jesus is watching. And then I would feel all this shame for days because I did it. Then I went to college, same thing. I'd go to church and do the whole like super Christian thing and then be in the bed with somebody who, wanted to have sex. And I'd start, and then in my mind would say, stop doing this. You're a sinner. You're dirty. Jesus is watching. So that's all historical programming that's showing up around sex, around money, around interaction. The 4th aspects of what it means to be human is we're quantum beings. We live in a field, right? There's a quantum field that we live in, and everything is interconnected and interwoven. And most of us don't understand that the biggest game in town is receptivity. Said differently, the biggest game in town is capacity. To the degree that you have capacity, the infrastructure to receive and experience life is the degree that you will. But most people are living inside of a little tiny little threshold. And they don't know different unless they get high. They go pop some Molly. Yeah, they pop some Molly and then woof, right? They go, oh my God, Everything is love. Oh my God, I can feel myself. They go do some mushrooms, they go do some LSD, they pop some Molly, they smoke a little weed, capacity opens. But it's an outside in game, right? So then Molly has my power. Weed has my power, right? Social media has my power. The biggest game is capacity. Capacity is built by understanding that we're biological beings, we're linguistic beings, so we speak what we seek until we see what we said. We speak things into existence. We work with our biology. We extract the programming from our dad, and his dad around money, around sex, around power. We extract what the church and what the school system told us we needed to be. We remove that, and then by way of doing that, we become receptive and have capacity to tap in and tune in to the one power. Let's call it God. Let's call it Jesus. Let's call it Buddha. Let's call it Krishna. Let's call it Allah. Let's call it divine intelligence. Whatever that thing is, your conversation with it changes when you go through the other three.
Okay. Wow. So, seems like, from what you just said, you could say that capacity is also your perspective upon the world. I think I don't remember exactly who said this, but when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Mm-hmm. There's that amazing quote,
Wayne Dyer.
Yeah, there you go, Wayne Dyer. And it's absolutely true, right? And for a lot of people, especially in today's day and age, they need these sort of external stimuli or external circumstance in order to change the way that they look at things, like social media, like drugs, like any sort of, I guess you could call it a vice. Mm-hmm. And you said that the way that you go about broadening your capacity or perspective is by leveraging those four attributes of a human, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's the sort of tactical way that people can go about doing this in their day-to-day life?
So you can't intervene in a world you can't see. Let's just go there again. You can't intervene. You cannot do jack shit about a world if you can't see the world. Mm-hmm. So step one is to admit and locate and notice when you are operating from the wounded ego that and the personality, because people think, so people come to me all the time. We have these workshops that we do all over the world called the Bridge Experience. And the point of the Bridge Experience is it's an immersive, somatic, nervous system-based workshop to help people rebuild their somatic body so they can hold what they say they want and then some. So said differently, we help them with capacity. We help them, because mindset alone is not enough. You could listen to 100 podcasts, read 100 books, and that'll be cool and awesome. But until your body gets the signal, until you move through the toxic shame, until you move through the molestation and the rape and the terrible shit you did to other people and all that stuff, the body has its own intelligence. And so what I do is I help people move through that stuff by way of their nervous system. How do we hack the nervous system? How do we play with the nervous system? We titrate. An example would be, do you know how to ride a bike?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know how to ride a bike immediately?
No.
Okay. What happened? How did you learn how to ride a bike?
I was taught and I scraped my knees a bunch.
There we go. So let's start with taught. So there was another human, a loving, embodied human, somebody who knew how to ride a bike. Mm-hmm. Step one, everybody listen to this. So Justin, who was that embodied human?
That was my dad, I believe.
Okay. So your dad was embodied, aligned when it came to bike riding. He had somatic capacity to ride a bike. You following so far? You didn't. You were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but you didn't have somatic capacity to ride a bike. You had mental blocks and physical blocks when it came to riding a bike. You follow me so far?
Yep.
Yes. So your dad, whose embodied because your dad understands that life is a team sport. Now, I'm speaking for your dad, but I'm really just speaking for me. My truth is that life is a team sport. We do this whole thing together. We help each other. And all of us are dope at something. All of us are embodied at something. For you, Justin, this is easy for you now to do podcasts. There are people who are thinking about a podcast, people who want to, but they don't have the somatic capacity that you do at this point, right? You are embodied when it comes to doing podcasts. So if somebody were to come spend 2-3 months with you and watch you do it, and then have you would tell them, hey, set up the thing, and then turn the thing on and do the thing. By the time that a month went by, they'd have more capacity around that particular subject. So I hope everybody's catching this so far. Whether it's podcasting or bike riding, it's a team sport. You want to break through. You want to break through something? You get by someone who's already living what you want. Then you learn from them by titration, meaning your dad didn't just put you on the bike and launch you. He didn't just fucking launch you down the street. He put you on the bike, and what did he do? More than likely,
He helped me. He got on my training wheels and he sort of had his hands on my shoulders and he like walked me down the thing until I was good enough, and then he took off my training wheels. That kind of stuff.
That. He didn't just launch you. He understood that it would take a minute, but it would happen. Not only, so let's go even deeper into this. And I didn't even know, I've never done this on a podcast, but this is perfect timing. Do you think your dad was thinking to himself, this guy will never ride a bike?
No.
What do you think your dad was thinking?
I think he was thinking he's going to learn how to ride a bike because I'm going to teach him how to ride a bike.
That. Do you think you had doubts after you fell a couple times?
Probably. I would
More than
assume
likely.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more than likely you did. So there's this guide, this Sherpa, this partner in shine who's sitting here embodied saying, I got you. Not only do I got you, I'm gonna run on the side of you. I have 4 kids, Justin. So I've done this process multiple times.
Right.
I'm gonna run on the side of you and make sure you get it. And when you start to wobble, I may pick you back up and say, keep riding, keep riding, keep riding. Look forward, right? Well, that's the same process that it takes when somebody is learning to break through something that has plagued them in this lifetime. So no matter what it is, you want to be more successful? Sit next to somebody who's successful. You want to be more successful or healthier, right? Go to a gym, get a trainer, somebody who's already embodied in the thing you want. Like that is literally the key. I am a multimillionaire. When I was your age, Justin, I was broke as a joke. At 33, I moved back in with my mom. 33. I didn't have any money. I started a surf school. I started teaching surf lessons in Venice Beach. And I spent all the money I was spending on rent. I put it into working with people who had what I wanted. And within a year, bro, I went from 36K to 150K. Next year, 150 to 300. Next year, 300 to 600. Next year, 600 to 1.2 million, and I haven't stopped. As soon as I figured it out, I went. That's the key.
Wow. Okay. So the way that I've sort of interpreted this is that the mindset, the seminars, the podcasts, that can be classified as sort of a software update. But what you really need is a hardware update. It's the somatic nervous system, the person that's giving their sort of embodied experience, I guess you could say, to you, and not just launching you off of, down the hill on a bike. They're going, I'm going to run next to you and I'm going to have my hands on your shoulders and make sure that you don't fall as bad as I did. Yeah. Do you think that the same thing applies when it comes to relationships? Like for a young man or young woman, maybe, 20 to 25, do you think that they should seek out people that sort of mirror the relationship that they want and to just go to school on them and say, I want exactly what you want. Teach me how to do this?
Yes. Whether it's directly relationships or it's a men's group or a women's group or some type of mastermind or some type of immersive experience, a lot of people come to our workshop, the Bridge Experience, because of this very thing. Because they keep sabotaging, they don't know how to open their hearts, they keep figuring out a way to cheat or be cheated on or X, Y, and Z. And they understand at some level that to immerse yourself around people who will hold a mirror up to all the places where you're still lying to yourself and show you not just through your mindset but through your body, because the body doesn't lie. You ever met somebody or been around somebody, Justin, who says who is highly stressed out, but when you ask them are they good, they say I'm fine?
Yeah.
You ever been around somebody and you're like,
yeah, I've been that person from time to time for sure.
I'm fine. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You're like, bro, it's not fine. You literally are dying, right? That's because we're sophisticated animals, right? We could dress these things up and we could put all the little cool clothes on them. But the animal, your animal, my animal, is scanning. And it knows when somebody is safe and not safe. It knows. It's scanning for danger. Will this person eat me? Does this person want to fuck me? Was this person neutral? What are they, right? We're scanning. And so what people don't understand is, yes, mindset work, podcasts, books, all of that, super important. What's way more important is practice, in the game practice. And so finding communities and spaces. My wife and I are starting a new one called Relationship Rewired. It's not out yet, but it's going to be like $47 a month. But a space specifically just like what we're talking about, just for people who want to be in relationships, are in a relationship, or are married, to hit the weights. Because the best way to get in shape is to actually hit the weights. The best way to get in shape is to actually do something. We could talk about getting in shape. I could watch all the YouTube videos about getting in shape. I can see you working out, but until I get in the fucking gym and put the weights on my back and lift, it's not going to work. That.
So it's the difference between theory and practice, sort of. Like you're familiar with the quote unquote seminar junkies, right? The people that just go to all these seminars and they watch all these things and then nothing really changes because they don't put it into practice. They don't actually integrate the information and then go, okay, well, how can I use action to change this in my life, right?
Facts.
What you touched on how you guys at the Bridge Experience help couples. What's the one sort of recurring theme that you guys see in a lot of couples? Like what's the biggest problem on average that people are facing right now?
Most people do not know how to self-source what they desire first. So they've spent their whole life outsourcing their power. And it's by design. It's most parents unconsciously do this, where you say, "Oh, it's the candy that'll make me feel good. It's the new toy that'll make me feel good. If I get good grades, then I'll be enough. If I make it into this, if I score the baskets, then Daddy will be proud of me." Everything is always out there first, there, then here. So what we find is one of the biggest problems is people come into our workshops resentful of their partners. They're like, yo, you haven't filled my cup up. My partner didn't fill my cup up. And we help them understand that you must fill your own cup and give and receive from the overflow.
Interesting.
Fill your own cup, receive and give from the overflow. Most people are empty cups going, fill me up, please, fill me up, right? Like me. You see my butt? Do you see my abs? Do you see my car? Do you see? Is this enough? Is this enough? Please tell me I'm enough. And so it's a unconscious addiction to the outside end game. And so what we do is we help people create the inside out game, not with intellectual processes, but by actually feeling and embodying what they desire, the feeling tone and the energy, the signature, the energetic signature of what you desire. because what you seek is seeking you, said Rumi or one of them. Said differently, that shirt you have on, Justin, that shirt was always going to be your shirt. How long ago did you get it, by the way?
Maybe a year ago.
Okay, so a year ago, before that, that shirt was always going to be yours. 7 years ago, that shirt was always had a date with destiny with Justin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So I'll break it down even differently. So let's say you see these healthy organic cookie things that I have right here that my wife got me. Let's say I drop some of these right here in the left side of the screen for me. And there's some ants passing by over here in the right side of the screen. Now the ants are far away. They can't see the cookies. But the ants sense that there is something there. There's something for them to eat. You following so far?
Mm-hmm.
They can't see it, but they can sense it. Right? To the ants, the cookies are in the future. Following?
Yeah.
Me standing above. Now I can see the ants and I can see the cookies. Where are the cookies to me?
In the present. They're right there.
That. So everything you desire, all things on this planet have a date with destiny. We all get to imbue and dance with them. And so you can name, and Justin, do this for me, name a desire that you have currently, something you want.
Something I want. To be in the best shape of my life.
There we go. Okay. So that's the cookies. Here's Justin sensing, hey, there's a mission for me. There's something for me to bring forward. There's a best shape that I've ever been in. Now, what's the bullshit excuses and reasons why when you're at your worst, you think this can't happen?
I'm too busy with work. I have too much stuff on my plate. If I already cheated on my diet, I may as well cheat on my workout plan, this kind of stuff.
There we go. So that's some of the biggest work in the game. Because I just sold it, but I used to have this epic G-Wagon, brand new G-Wagon, right? The G-Wagon, I'm buying a Porsche today, a Taycan.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The G-Wagon is over here. I wanted a G-Wagon 9 years ago. I couldn't afford it then, but I could sense it, right? So if I'm the ant and Aunt Preston is desiring a G-Wagon, right? But at the time, I couldn't see the path for how I could afford it, right? So I'm only leaning on my own understanding at that point. You following me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my own understanding is inside of my personality, and my personality is formed by those the four aspects of what it means to be human: my biology, my linguistics, my social and historical programming. So if my social and historical programming says, "Hey, you were in special needs, bro. You were in the class with retarded kids, homie. There's no way you are going to be rich enough to have a G-Wagon." Okay? That's the personality talking. The G-Wagon's always there. The G-Wagon already existed. But I was only taking the perspective of the ant view. The invitation is to go higher. The invitation is to go above. The invitation is to understand that all things want to dance. All things. Every leaf on this money tree behind me. Every hair on your beautiful, thick head, Justin, wants to dance. It all wants to be circulated and moved and played with. That microphone always was going to be in your house, not mine. This Shure microphone, very similar, was always going to be mine. There was one right next to it that I didn't get because me and this microphone had to dance. So there's no difference in material or, what's the word? Intrinsic desires. It's all the same thing. We've been lied to about stuff. We've put too much, we've deified, and then we've demonized. And this is the same thing when it comes to relationships and dating and all that stuff. We either deify it. Oh, I'm an ugly duckling. I'll never get the type of woman that I want. Oh, I'm not as hot as the Instagram booty girls. There's no way I'll get a guy that I currently want. That's deify, right? Or we demonize, right? Fuck those guys. All they want is sex, and they're just like dogs, and they just want to like be fuckboys and X, Y, and Z. And you following?
Yeah.
All of that's at the level of personality. But if you understand, there is a human. Justin, are you in a relationship right now?
Yeah. Me and my wife have been married for 2 years and a few months.
Let's go. Game on. That was always going to be your wife. Who did you date before her?
Nobody good, man. I'll tell you that.
I hear that, and I don't want to get you in trouble by saying the name, but let's just say I'm going to make up a name called Sally. Sally and Jane and Christy and the 12 other people you dated since you were born, all of them were setting you up for your current wife. What's her name?
Her name's Madeline.
That part. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's the G-Wagon, whether it's the best shape of your life, whether it's Madeline. What you seek is seeking you. There is a human being. There is a dog that's yours. There is a snake that's going to be on the property. There is a roach that's going to crawl through your fucking cabinet one day, 9 years from now. All of it, it's all written. You can dance with it or you can resist it. But if you take the perspective of God and go, okay, I hear it, I feel it, I sense it. I can't see it, but I can sense it. Cool. Okay, if I can sense it, what needs to happen so that I have the somatic capacity when the G-Wagon does get here, when the Madeline does get here? What needs to happen inside of me so that I can hold this? It's one thing to manifest it. It's a whole nother game to be with it. I'm 13 years in, 4 kids, 5 businesses. Do you know how many people I've seen have relationships come and go? You know how many divorces I've seen in the last 13 years, bro? My wife and I have been through everything you can imagine, and we're still standing. Not just standing, we're thriving. We're thriving not because we're better than everybody else. We're thriving because we built the somatic capacity to sit in the discomfort and the conflict and the ugliness and the fucking breakdowns and the shame and the scariness and the losing of babies. All of it, homie. That's what makes me different and bigger than most people, is I've built the somatic capacity. Not just to get married, but to thrive in one, even when it's hard. That's the key.
So if somebody who is single watching this and they are in that sort of demonize or deify situation where they go, well, all men cheat and all women are blah, 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 and this and that and all this stuff, and then they hear you say, well, everything is written, there's this sort of tapestry of destiny that is being woven every day throughout all of your choices and things like this. And they wonder, well, why can't it happen now? What can I do right now to speed this up at all? What would you say to that?
I would say that their time is an illusion. I would say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so if it's a fuck boy in front of you, that's your current teacher. And the teaching is, can you hold your somatic dignity and not give your pussy away because you're lonely? I'll flip that. If it's some booty Instagram girl, but you keep telling God, right? You keep telling God, hey, I want a wife. I want to be in a long-term relationship. But every time you get horny, you go you swipe through Tinder and find some booty girl. That's your current teacher. Because it's an invitation into your bigness. You don't get Madeleines and Alexis by fucking off. There is elevation requires separation. I'm going to say it again. Elevation requires separation. You can't have both. You can't stay on the ground and be up. You can't swim in the pool and hang on to the side. So you got to let something go. So There's two ways to play the game. One is, why isn't it here, God? Vibrational frequency. This is terrible. I must be terrible. It's not working. God, you're a liar. Everything else has worked, but this is not going to work. Cool.
Right.
Vibrational frequency. Right? You make yourself not a match. Doesn't mean that your person won't come. And hear this. Let me be very clear. I believe that all roads lead to the same place, which is here and now. Here and now in the body, here and now without the body. Every angle you take, God is. You go left, God is. You go right, God is. You want to fuck 10 more fuck boys? God is. You want to be disciplined and say no to the short-term satisfaction of getting attention and really do the work to love yourself and fill your cup? God is. You can't miss. All roads lead to the same place. Some roads are longer. Some roads are harder. Some roads fucking suck. But you're still getting there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, wow. It's that makes a lot of sense to me. When the student has become the teacher, your person, your desire will sort of reveal itself, not because of this this sort of magic manifestation-y thing. The more I think about it, it'll pop up, but because you've actually done the work. You've learned the things that you need to learn. You've developed lovable attributes within yourself so that when you meet the person, they go, "Oh my God, he or she is actually the shit, and I want to go hang out with them for the rest of my life, so we're going to get married right now."
Yeah.
It's have you heard the I don't know how true this is, but I assume that it is pretty true because it happened to me, where women need to build, and I'm sure that you can answer this way better than I can, but women need to build a sort of incredibly intimate, deep connection with somebody and then decide that they're going to get married, whereas men go, "I've decided independently I'm going to get married," and then they meet the person and they go, "You're the one. I'm going to get married to you." It's like a sort of it's an interesting sort of feminine masculine thing where the masculine goes, "I've decided this, and it's you right now.
Yeah.
Let's go for it." And the women are like, "Well, I need to have this container built for me, and I need to see how it feels and all this stuff." And we sort of take it a little bit slower. Have you found that is true?
I have found that is pretty true. Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, there's exceptions to all rules.
Right.
There's something that happens when women, and this isn't fair. Like if I came back as a woman, I'd be like, "This is stupid," right? But I'd take it and I'd figure it out. It's not fair. But women have a clock that ticks a lot faster biologically, and so a lot of the women that come into our spaces are in that 35 to 39 range, and they don't have time to mess around. And so
Right.
what happens is sometimes the 42-year-old dude will date a 27-year-old just so he doesn't have to go fast, because he's taking his time. But yes, when it clicks, it'll click. Guys usually have until about 37 to 38 before they're considered a loser, if they're just out still in the club having sex and doing that thing. But ultimately, yes, I made that decision. I decided that it was time for me to have a wife, and my wife appeared, and I think it's all divine timing. Again, you can't miss. I think we also put too much. We deify. We make our God this idea of marriage and foreverness, and I don't do that. Even though I've been married a long time, I don't put all my hopes and dreams into forever, right? One, marriage was brought so that so women could own shit and stuff like that. It's its own. It doesn't mean as much as we've made it mean. We've been sold an idea, and so this idea that long term, the longer I am with someone means that we did good. I think all of us. A lot of people grew up with parents who stayed together for the kids, but they were miserable. And to me, that's not an option. We're either thriving inside of the discomfort, knowing that we're all staring at the same mountain, or we don't do it. And I think if people stepped out of the fairy tale, especially women. I think women have been so programmed and conditioned to believe that they're worthy and they're good when they get their guy. I'm raising a daughter right now, and that's one of the things I'm working on a lot, is making sure she does not get the programming that her enoughness comes from when the boy chooses her.
Right.
Because then she'll unconsciously sell out on herself for the sake of this external being. And again, we have to give from a full cup. Otherwise, we're playing a losing game.
I agree with the idea that you should not look for. Let me see if I can say this correctly. You should not look for a person that completes you in the way of I am 50% and you are 50%. You should look for a person that adds to your 100%, if that makes sense. Together we are 200%, therefore we are better together than without. It's that sort of a thing. And yeah, exactly. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about the external the external circumstance, the external stimuli, that kind of stuff. When I get this girl, this will happen. When we get married, this will happen. When we have kids, this will happen, all of this stuff. If you develop lovable attributes within yourself and you become the person that your dream wife or dream husband would like to marry, the chances of it happening skyrocket. Like I assume the same thing that happened to me happened to you. When you decided that you were going to get married to a beautiful lady, you had to change your shit. You were like, oh, I should probably dial some stuff in, right?
100%.
So the sooner that you can make that decision, I suppose, the better, just because, and if you really make it authentically, it will change your life for the better regardless of when you find that person.
Facts. You know?
Do you go.
No, you go.
Okay. Do you think that the modern age man that has been, it's just been drilled into his head that masculinity is toxic and these things are terrible and you should never confront people and you should never destroy things and you shouldn't swing your dick around and all this stuff. Do you think that sort of, that conditioning has made it so they cannot be for lack of a better term, a divine masculine man, or do you think that it's also internal things? What's the root cause there? Like, what do you think that is?
Yeah, it's both. And the stuff doesn't pop up out of nowhere. It doesn't pop up out of nowhere. That term, even though we may not like the term, there's a lot to it. You know, I imagine the thought of being a woman in the 1960s and 70s in a workplace where people are smoking cigarettes and grabbing your ass when they walk by. You know, the number of rapes and that even occur now. Back then, they wouldn't even talk about it, right? There's a lot of toxic bullshit, masculine stuff that has happened, and I think that the modern day man is, for lack of a better word, mainly a little bitch, and they dress and look like man, but they don't actually operate from it. It's a consciousness. It's a standard that you step into. It's a code that you live by. And I won't say it's their fault because, you know, we've had a lack of brothers and uncles. I have a men's group called The Standard. And the very point of this is we have, quote unquote, older men and younger men inside of it. And we all teach each other in a loop because the younger men have stuff to teach. Justin, you're dope as shit, bro. And I'm probably like 15 years older than you. Right? And there's stuff that I could learn from you, and there's a lot you could learn from me. And so I think that it's important that, quote unquote, the 20-something-year-old men get around guys who are really doing it, right? Yeah. And not to toot my own horn, but I'm dope as fuck on multiple levels. I fight. I take care of my body, like literally fight. I got all the sick cars. I got all the big houses. I got the beautiful wife. I really take care of my kids. I really love on my community. I really praise my God, not just like as a thing to show on social media. I do my work, homie. That is not something that's common these days. And so when you find people who are swinging for the fences, you get close to them so that you create your own environment. You know, one of the things, I have thousands of trees here, and I plant them too. I garden as well. And the distinction between a tree that grows 100 feet in the air and provides food and shade and the worms and the lizards and everything can live in it, the birds come, and one that grows 3 feet in the air and dies is not the seed, it's not the blueprint. It is the soil that it's planted in. The seed contains the whole thing. Mm-hmm. This giant, it defies the laws of physics and becomes this giant oak tree, for example. Little nut. But the difference between that thing going way sky high and not is literally not the seed. So it's not you, Justin, it's the soil that you were planted in. It's not me, Preston. I have the blueprint here. What soil am I planted in? And not just once, right? Do you cultivate the soil? Do you take care of the soil? Mm-hmm. The soil is the people you're around. The soil is the things you're listening to, the things you're watching, the practices you're taking care of. Do you have men around you saying, hey, don't do that? And hey, this is how you handle business. Hey, this is what happens when conflict occurs. This is what happens. This is how you do this. This is how you step back in the room and apologize and own it. This is how you hold the standard for your woman. This is how you energetically stalk her so she feels fucked even when you're not having sex. These are things that people don't teach, right? And we got the Andrew Tates and people like that of the world leading, and it's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. So. Just you saying, I work out, I provide for my family, I have all these cars, and I'm also a gardener made me think of the quote, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Facts.
I love that quote so much, and I try my hardest to sort of live by it and cultivate my environment to optimize for that outcome, whatever it is, being the warrior in a garden. I could talk to you for a million years, man, but we do have to wrap it up here in a second. The last question that I'm going to ask you is, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Work on your nervous system. And swing for the fences. Play harder. Make more mistakes. That.
Killer, man. Where can our people go to connect with you, learn more about your work, join your mission, stuff like this?
At Preston Smiles on everything, but especially Instagram is where I do a lot of my work, and or thebridgemethod.org if you want to come to one of the workshops. The next one's in Australia, then Austin again.
Fun, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this. This has been awesome.